Shabbat Shalom, greetings to you all. Now, I hope you are getting ready for next week's non-Jewish Purim Halloween, although it is no longer Halloween in some places. Now, I believe it's Black and Orange Spirit Day or something just as idiotic. Now, I was talking to a teacher friend of mine the other day who was getting her class ready for a Halloween party, and she was told there was not going to be any Halloween party. There would be no costumes because not every culture observes it. Well, I'm sure this will be very non-PC, but it is Halloween. Always has been, always will be. And while I do not personally observe it, I acknowledge it. And I have no problem with anybody else who does want to observe it. That was my dear friend Jason Darkwood's favorite holiday. And although I'm not in costume, so as not to offend anyone, if asked, I can certainly say I'm in the guise of an irascible old fogey. Now, I have to say I'm grateful that this idiocy only seems to affect secular holidays. Or maybe we would have to change all the holidays. Christmas can become give a gift to anyone or everyone day. Hey, you cannot discriminate, so you cannot give one and not another. Purim can become Prune Danish Day. I'm sure New Year's, which already saw a name change from Circumcision Day to New Year's Day, is on its way to being Change the Digit in the Calendar Day. And of course, Valentine's Day already is International Chocolate and Flowers Day. Now, you just do not know what any holiday you grew up with is anymore. But I have no problem with people keeping all of their holidays. And at the end of next week, of course, is Ellen's birthday. And that's such a great day as it is, one that will never change. And one of my great memories, of course, was having been able to celebrate that special day with you. Now, as we do every week, let us all come together now and celebrate in a showing of faith. As a community, a chavur, a fellowship, and join together to express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all. As we come together every week in this community house of spirit, the Beth Ruach. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody you know, physically, psychically, emotionally, or spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov. Shevet Ahim Gam Yachad. Hine matov u'metai, shevet achim gam yachad. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community, 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 together. So as a community, let us all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. We are a community, my friends. Male, female, everybody. We're all alike. We're all the same. Let's also take advantage of our time to share energy and heal our beloved friends, our pets, our family members, and send renewal and goodwill and healing to them. Avenu Malkeinu, our Father, our King, listen and hear our prayers and allow us to be guided with wisdom. Let us send special words for those in need of renewal. We all know people in need of renewal. It's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. For Ian, for Will, for Ben, for Linda, for Rosemary, for all of you, for everyone in the world, the kindness, healing, wishes, goodwill, and love that you all send out. It just keeps circling the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each and every one of you, for all you do, for all you care, because spirit never dies. Shemera Avoteinu Makor HaBracha Mimoteinu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of the body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say Amen. Misha Berach, let us all have our spirits renewed. The worldwide, my friends, we all need some renewal. Well, last week we read about faith, and we saw how strong it actually is. You do not question, you do not seek proof. You just listen, you believe, and you do. Faith, as my good friend Viv loves to define it, an unwavering adherence to principle. And I cannot argue with that. Now, as we ended last week, we saw the Cosmic Bible finished, and we met a family without realizing that that's what we were doing. Now, the book opened with the God of everyone, who still is now, always has been, and always will be the God of everyone, except the story has narrowed to focus on a family. Just the family of man, but the family of one man, the family of Abraham, the first of the patriarchs. And that story will take up the rest of this book, my friends. Now, okay, 75-year-old comes up to you and says, pack up, we're leaving. You ask why? And I'm told he was told to. Not by anyone in particular, not in real life, just a voice in his head. And he does not even say that it was God's voice. Of course, we do not know at this time what Abraham actually believes in. So you ask, where? He says, I don't know. Well, what do you do? What would you do? Well, probably the first thing you do is you call the doctor. Friends, this is lech, lecha. Go, you go. Well, it is an unusual use of the verb. And so it's a preliminary to what we're going to see shortly, as the famous double name calling is going to come into play. The sign of life-altering decisions. Now here the double verb is the emphatic go, you go. And there's probably never been a more life-altering command. Genesis 12:1, go. And Yahweh said to Abraham, go from your land and from your birthplace and from your father's house to the land that I'll show you. And my friends, go he does. All my bags are packed. I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but the dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting, he's blowing his horn. Already, I'm so lonesome, I could die. Leaving on a jet plane. Well, there weren't any jet planes back then. But this is the beginning of the search for the promised land, something that has been dangled like a carrot in front of people for thousands of years. Now, the Jews are a community that connects its birth with a prediction, a promise, an obligation, and a destiny to be a blessing to all of mankind. And we are joining Abraham on his journey, and what a journey it is. Well, right away, he hits the road and heads to what will become a very familiar place, perhaps as an ominous foretelling. Genesis 12:10. There was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to reside there because the famine was heavy in the land. And it was when he was close to coming to Egypt, and he said to Sarai, his wife, here, I know that you're a beautiful woman. Okay, we'll stop there for a second. We know that later there's another famine we become familiar with, one that leads to Joseph being sold into slavery and ultimately sees Jacob and his sons go to Egypt, where they will stay until Moses, the deliverer, arrives. Well, this is an incredible parsha. This parsha has the very strange episode of Abraham in Egypt. Why? Why was he really there? Was the famine a story of convenience? When was he there? Well, he's over 75 years old when he left his land. And we get the story of Sarai's beauty and her being taken as Pharaoh's wife. And this is only one of the first of 3 identical wife-sister stories. It shows up out of the blue. Now, we also learn that Sarah actually is Abraham's sister. And, we still have a problem with the relationships of all of the patriarchs. Now, maybe the journey there in the wealth accumulated is true. But given the story of Sarah, which means princess, and her marriage to Pharaoh, the time sequence may be off. And maybe he was there a lot earlier in his life. We don't know. This isn't the history book, per se. And this whole part of the journey centers around this episode of the lie as to their status. And friends, our sages have agonized over this. It reminds us of the other sister-wife stories and of the stories of the evil of Esau that we're going to be reading soon, where we're told things in all these situations which allow, us to have a certain view of things, but all other writings counter it. It has no substantiation in fact or in fiction within the Torah, and yet a belief system exists that's not really true. Now, we also get these stories of Abraham as a great military general and a great leader, as a priest, as a prophet. There are great journeys this elderly man and his clan go. And when you look at a map of Abraham's travel throughout the Middle East, well, he'd been everywhere. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. The great Hank Snow. And that song's been done by just about everybody. Now, if that's not enough, And since we are on the cusp of Halloween, when we see all those other beings, we see the angels, the devils, the ghosts, the unicorns, we begin to see angels visit here. Messengers. Now, we've really not seen them since that brief mention in Genesis 6, where they were talked and quickly and then gone. But now they have a significant interaction with man, and they become the new intermediary. And we're going to get a setup of the angels with the episode of Lot and the story of Sodom and Gomorrah coming up. It's another great example of faith, by the way. Lot's wife did not listen to God and paid the price. Lot, too, was of insufficient faith and created his own immediate karma with the offer of his daughters. But we're going to hold off on that one until next time. But so these angels who do this whole story of Sodom and Gomorrah also come and introduce the story of Hagar. And that's a story that's read every High Holy Day. And we see that Sarah was not so nice. And Sarai degraded her and she fled. Well, of course, Sarai's treatment of the Egyptian Hagar foreshadows Israel's experience in Egypt. Now, these exact words recur there. In Exodus 1:12 and 14:5, Egypt degraded them and they fled. Same words. And what a choice of words, that concept of degrade, as seen here, as seen in Egypt, and to be recreated on Yom Kippur forevermore. And observe, my friends, that like Israel, Hagar fled into the wilderness. Well, the concept of the wilderness is also very powerful and will be recreated throughout the Torah, especially in the stories of the wilderness generation. But here, Hagar is saved by an angel, told she was pregnant, told to have faith, which she did. She listened and obeyed. Genesis 16:15. And Hagar gave birth to a son for Abram, and Abram called the name of his son whom Hagar had born Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar gave birth to Ishmael. Well, Hagar listened, went back. She will flee again, and she will demonstrate faith again. But we shift to Abram at 99 years old. The voice he heard almost 25 years ago talks to him again and told him his name was now changed to Abraham. And the covenant of circumcision was introduced, the second of God's covenants with man. I wonder which is still the requirement of membership in the tribe. And Abraham circumcised himself, the 13-year-old Ishmael, and his staff. Now, is this not another example of faith? Is faith and obedience the same? What do you think? Now, how many of you question your own inner voices? Is that a sign of faith or of disbelief? Yes, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor freedom, be well, be happy, and be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, good healing to all who need it. And please do. Learn to forgive. Learn to love. Learn to love yourself. Open your hearts and honor the relationships in your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have and enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now, bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light, a week of peace. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe. Because remember, we set in motion all that happens in our lives. Our intention, our kavanah, our cause, our effect, everything's linked. As I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You do have the knowledge of what is good and bad. So acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged, and then ask forgiveness. Do so with sincerity, with accountability, with vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be a much more forgiving and compassionate individual. The secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Contemplate that meaning. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world, just as they are on any given day? Can you accept life just as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. Do not stop your journey, my friends. Go, you go. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It's always in front of you. And remember to have faith and unwavering adherence to principle. Just as I have faith in the principle of love in all of you, So please do act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year, and may you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go. Work to be present in the body. Expand the heart, quiet the mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and the ability for us to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Make the most of your time in this life, my friends. Continue to touch and transform the lives around you. You're never alone. You're forever blessed and have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet. Health, love, renewal to everybody you come across. We're all energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Friends, your words are your power to transform, to love. So be generous with them. Bless others, bless yourself, and love with the heart. We're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger. The great lessons of life. Be there for someone, because someone is always there for you, whether you know it or not. Do not stop asking questions. Do not stop giving and then forgetting love. Explore faith, and do not accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together, we learn together, we keep moving towards where we are led to go. Like a true nature's child, we were born to be wild. We can climb so high, never wanna die. Born to be wild. We're born to be wild. Be happy, be healthy, be helpful, be kind, and be loving. And have an awesome Halloween, my friend. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care. See you next time. Bye.